Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Jazzy, the for Sasquatch here, and we are doing our Throwback Thursday. I have a couple new movies, and we're going to continue on to our Marvel talk. We're still in the first iteration of a lot of those movies of Marvel, so we are getting to the end, though, of like getting into before the MCU, and some of these movies, like we're talking about with the sequels and like Fantastic Four, that was, you know, during the MCU time. That was a part of Sony's like MCU thing that they were doing, their Dark Verse for Ghost Rider and other stuff like that. But that's where we're at there. And then we will talk about the box office for the weekend. Oh, we might not. I don't know. I think there's only one movie, and yeah, we'll talk about the box office. Let's just start with the Breadwinner here. Directed by Eric Appel, starring Nate Bargatze, Andy Moore, and Colin Jost. When a supermodel lands a Shark Tank deal, she switches roles with her breadwinner husband, who struggles to adapt as a stay-at-home dad to their three daughters. Will Forte pops up in this. The whole cast of Shark Tank, but Mark Cuban pops up in this as well. Maybe it was Mark Cuban. I can't really remember now. I guess it was like a week removed because we took the week off for the Independence Day, but this came out May 29th of 2026 and had an opening of 7 and a gross of 20. I have to guess that's around what the budget was. The budget might have been a little bit more just because of the couple of the names that they had, and they did kind of have like hijinks comedy where they destroyed a bunch of stuff, so that could have cost into the budget as well. But I'm sure it wasn't that much. I'm sure they made money on this one. I mean, Nate Bargatze, he's funny. This is about pretty much what his comedy is about here, and he does a very good job as what he's supposed to be because this is him. Mandy Moore does a good job as his wife. Really, Will Forte is really kind of funny as like the oddball kind of, just kind of how he shows up and everything and works. And um, yeah, there's just other funny people in this. This is a really good movie. Honestly, like it's just like a family movie. It's not like nothing special, but it is what it is, and it has good impact on it. If there's something to watch with the family there, this is one of those ones that you would watch because it's clean, completely clean. The kids in it. I mean, there's like it don't even like cross a line or try and get into a line, which I think makes it more funny because it's just so hard to just stay so clean and be so funny just of being observant and all the stuff that's around it and the crazy hijinks, like it's old school slapstick stuff that everyone likes. So that is that movie. If you have not seen it, I suggest watching it. It has to be on Apple pretty soon here or Prime or whatever you're watching it on. And that is our Breadwinner, directed by Eric Appel. The second one we're going to talk about here is Pressure, directed by Anthony Miraz, starring Andrew Scott, Brendan Fraser, and Kerry Condon in the tense 72 hours before D-Day. General Dwight D. Eisenhower and Captain James Stagg face an impossible choice, launch the most dangerous seaborne invasion in history, or risk losing the war altogether. Came out May 29th, 2026 as well. Had an opening of 5 and a gross 18.6 million. This is your dad's movie, my dad's movie. No, I should say your dad's. This is my dad's movie, probably your dad's movie as well. Um, I thought Brandon Fraser was very good as Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I love Kerry Condon, so I was like, I like this movie. I'm not gonna lie, it did what it did. It was a period drama, and it set the tone for World War II, and it set all the stuff that could go wrong, and all this stuff, and it showed all that, and like all the drama behind the scenes, and like the tenseness that Eisenhower had, and all this stuff. Crazy story, crazy day in American history, and like what a time to watch it too around this time of period because it is the 4th of July, the 250th year anniversary of America. So, and that's why we took last week off as well. But hell of a movie. If this is your type of thing, definitely watch it. It probably is an older crowd movie, not gonna lie. Nothing wrong with that. The newer crowd just there's nothing like flashy or real um signature about it. And I mean you'd have to pay attention and stuff like this, and you'd have to be kind of interested in World War II as well because the story is set in World War II. So if you're just interested in history or want to watch a good World War II movie that's newer, this is a good one to watch. And that is Pressure, directed by Anthony Miraz. All right, we're getting into our Marvel talk here. Let's just do Marvel Monday. Hulk, directed by Ang Lee from 2003, starring Eric Bana, Jennifer Connelly, Sam Elliott. Bruce Banner, a genetics researcher with a tragic past, suffers a lab accident that makes him transform into a raging giant green monster when angered, making him a target of forces Seeking to abuse his power, Josh Lucas pops up in this, Nick Nolte, Kevin Rankin's in this, and Lou Ferrigno also is this, who is the original Hulk. Shows up as a little side there with Stan Lee. It's came out on June 20th, 2003. Like I said, had a budget of 137 million, opening 62, and it grossed at 245. So, I mean, really, we're kind of on pace with where we're at now with all these movies about that, you know. This movie had some really, really cool scenes I don't remember. And like the cinematography on this is really tricky because it does like kind of really look like you're watching a comic book while watching the movie, which kind of is something that not a lot of people attempted before. There are a couple people that did, like with Sin City and stuff like this, but with this one, it does like stand out because there's like really cool sequences and really cool stuff that it just comes straight out of comics, and they use like camera angles and switch shots and still shots and double shots and triple shots to kind of get that feel for it, which I thought was really cool. Ang Lee, a hell of a director, with everything he did. Uh, a little interesting story. I didn't realize that was the story that they went with. They had Nick Nolte come in and be Eric Bana's dad, and basically they're just saying Eric Bana just always had the whole gene. I don't think I've ever heard that in an iteration, but I don't know. It could be a thing. And then I just passed it in the whole comics. I don't know. So just besides all that, I thought Eric Bana was good at what he does. I thought the Hulk was good. It was cool to see the scale and size they used for the Hulk here, and a lot of scenes were cool. I mean, yeah, you can tell still the early parts of everything when they're trying to get into open fields with the Hulk instead of like in the city and stuff like this. They're trying to use other things to like scale it, because the 3D stuff is just not like perfect yet. But for what it was very good. Um, Honestly, then you take some of this out, you add some of the cool stuff that Ang Lee did here into like some of these movies today, and I think that you really look at some of the cool. You see some cool features with like just the way directors even think today. I think that maybe it's a lot more people should watch that Ang Lee one and kind of see what he did cinematographically, and then kind of adapt it. Because I think that we get some really cool shots with all the technology we have using that kind of stuff. That I mean, if you haven't seen this one, I suggest seeing it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I kind of forgot about it, and then like watching it, I was kind of like impressed with everything. So at the same time, that's how everything goes. Um, that was a Hulk directed by Ang Lee from 2003. Oh, the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. So we're gonna talk about one of our first kind of franchise killers, I guess. Even though the money kind of did well. Directed by Tim Story, starring Ian Gruffield, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Mike Chiklis. The Fantastic Four learn that they aren't only superpowered beings in the universe when they square off against a powerful Silver Surfer on a planet eating Galactus. I don't really remember Galactus being in this much, but he is there. Billy McMahon, Kerry Washington, Andre Barr, and Lawrence Fishburne pop up in this. June 15th, 2007, with a budget of 130 million, opening 58 million, and gross 301 million. I thought that was a good number there, but it is kind of like a franchise killer because we never saw Fantastic Four from this group again. It's kind of unfortunate. We did get Chris Evans, and Deadpool eventually kind of reprised his role as like a tease. But yeah, I don't know. I think that I think besides Michael Chiklis is the thing, and the way they kind of did it, I think is a little over cheesy, a little bit too commercial, and I think that's kind of like the main people's vibe on it at the time, and maybe why they didn't repeat it. I don't know. Maybe they just lost the timing or money or property for this, and they decided not to do it again. Not really sure. Either way, I think that they could have did another couple movies with this, and maybe even linked into a Spider-Man or something. I don't know. I don't know because you gotta remember this is all before Fantastic Four is with Disney here. It's still Sony, I think, or maybe Fox. So they could have did something with X-Men or something. So who knows what happened there. But it is worth watching if you haven't seen it. I like it. I mean, this is what got me into movies. So that is the Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, directed by Tim Story. The last one we're gonna talk about here is Men in Black, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, starring Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Sorry, I know how to say it. James, a New York City cop, is hired by Agent K, a secret government agency that monitors into extraterrestrial life on Earth. Together, they must recover an item that has been stolen by an intergalactic villain. Tony Shalhoub pops up in this, Rip Torn. Linda Fiorentone, Vincent D'Onofrio takes on the role of the guy that's possessed by the cockroach, and it's a really funny movie, really good movie, and it's action-packed. Had a budget, or it came out July 2nd, 1997. Had a budget of 90 million, an opening of 51, and a gross of 589 million. I bet not many of you even realize that this was related to the Marvel comics. It is, and it isn't. It is bought through a third party with Marvel, but they do print, or they did print it for a long time, I guess. So this is technically a Marvel property. If you watch the newest credits with it, um, it does pop up Marvel property too. So it is a Marvel deal, kind of basically. Um, this would have been way before, this would have been about Blade time. This has been a little bit before Blade. I mean, this is kind of more in the vein of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles getting a comic book as an independent book, and then Marvel picking it up for its studio and stuff like that. Then more than it is part of the actual Marvel universe. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I mean, I'm sure if they could get Will Smith involved somehow with any way into Marvel, they would. I don't know, maybe not nowadays Will Smith, but I don't know. I still think he's a big enough star. If that is what they wanted to do, that is what they would do. And he's still making movies, so as long as he's making movies, there has to be people out there that would want him and doing something. And if not, maybe get a new Men in Black, which would be awesome. But this movie is like simple. It's awesome. It doesn't need much because it's like it just has big blockbuster feel to it. I don't know like how to say it. Like Will Smith is at this time like one of the last action heroes ever. You know what I mean? And even today, he's he's one of the last ones. And yeah. So I don't know. This is like the peak of Will Smith. This is where we're getting his rap with the songs. We got a Men in Black song. We got the Men in Black movie. We got him on there, Men in Black in. Yeah, and it's just prime Will Smith here. And it goes with it. It goes with everything he like was stood for at the time. He's funny. He's action packed movies. He had, like I said, like it was like a what $501 million, $589 million gross, and this is 97 guys. Like crazy number here. So crazy number of just stuff. Like 97, I think 589 million. It's like at least 3 times now. Talking about like a $1.5 billion movie today, and there's like what I mean, they're out there, but they're connected with Marvel. They're the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're not like independent pictures. They're big box office stuff, and this is like right at the peak of the big box office time. So that's just what I'm trying to get at. These movies are good. If you have not seen them, I suggest you see them. We're gonna go through all of them because they are part of what we're talking about here with Marvel Comics and just getting everything getting everything ready for Endgame here, and it should work out very good. Let's see here this weekend. So Minions and Monsters, it looks like beat Toy Story with 37 million. Toy Story had 30 million. Young Washington 19 million. That's pretty good. Supergirl tanked out 8.6 million. That's just too bad. Disclosure Day 5.7 million. Kind of staying there. Obsession still staying there around backgrounds. I mean, Obsession's at $248 million domestically, and um, what is Backrooms? Backrooms at $190 million domestically. Jesus, monster movies. Think about it. Toy Story's at 377, and Minions and Monsters altogether is at 77. There's our box office report, guys. You guys very much for watching. Next week we'll have more Marvel movies. Let's continue with it. We're gonna try and at least get the first iteration of Spider-Man done before the new Spider-Man movie. Even though we won't get into this Spider-Man until like probably like October, really, the pace we're going at. And think about it, like I said, this is a lot of movies. We've probably done like 15 movies so far, and we're like barely into the first, or we're just getting into the end of the first iterations of these, and we still haven't hit the big ones like Spider-Man, X-Men. I mean, we hit those, but we haven't hit the sequel and the second iterations of those. So, and then we get into the MCU, so we got a lot to go. So, thank you guys very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.